allows my mind to sleep. When thoughts and visions of your being become as real to me as life, I then become aware. You are there. With eyes closed, I can taste everywhere. Your eyes, your lips, your breast, your hair. Such a dream, so real, such a love I feel. I want to stay there forever and ever in the realms of this dream. Oh dream maker, oh weaver of magical dreams, make this dream come true tonight. Dream maker, make my dream come true tonight. Let me take her to the highest height that we can reach. Dream maker, make my dream come true tonight. Let me take her to the highest heights. Yeah, yeah.
They say I must be a fool. You're full of foolishness too. Boy, you don't love like I do. I try my best to show you. When you need me, I will be there. But when I need you, seems you don't care. Crazy lover, got me so blue. But I can't help that I love you so much. On my mind, I can't deny. Baby, if I'm not your everything, we're wasting time. I just wanna love you, I just wanna love you. I just wanna love you, I just wanna love you. I just wanna love you, I just wanna love you. I just wanna love When you need me, I will be there. But when I need you, seems you don't care. Crazy lover, got me so blue. But I can't help that I love you. Don't take for granted my love. Just 'cause your love is not right. One thing I'm very sure of, I put my heart into it. When you need me, I will be there. But when I need you, seems you don't care. Crazy lover, got me so blue. But I can't help that I love you so much. On my mind, I can't deny. Wanna love you so much. You're everything, we're wasting time. Wanna love you more. Oh. What you know about getting this money? What you know about getting this money? I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincoln, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? 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 I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincolns, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? What you know about getting this money?
One who ain't heard about me, The name bang everywhere in the V, the chain hang way past the T. Your bae used to cook me something to eat. Look, you know I'm 10 toes down, eating good, gained a few pounds. The ice froze all around my down. If the ice melt, all us gon' drown in it. So what them hate is that? Boy, you ain't been rich yet. Your 16s ain't cashing you checks. Your girl, she just sent me a text sheet. Tryna pop bottles. Snap lit with a bunch of models. Having think we won the lotto. Cap B, hit 'em with the motto.
What you know about getting this money? I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincoln, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? 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 I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincolns, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? What you know about getting this money?
Wanna stay in your feelings or you want ceilings missing? Look, you wanna sell out arenas or stay in little buildings? Look, you want filet mignon or you want chicken tenders? Niggas all sound exactly the same on every track. DJ, I don't know who you spinning. Got the whole VA coming with me. Private jets flying over cities. Any chick I'm with looking extra pretty. Any fit I'm in looking extra trendy. You better stay woke. I could never been a broke. My lane different. We switching aim in it. Change the game different. That's why my name winning.
Getting this money, I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincoln, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? 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 I could tell you about it. Started with Washington, Lincolns, and Jackson. Turn them to Franklins and Grants. I've been stacked. Hey, what you know about getting this money? What you know about getting this money?
Got the whole VA coming with me. Got the whole VA coming with me. Got the whole VA coming with me. Got the whole VA coming with me.
WODU is the heartbeat of Old Dominion. Good morning and welcome. We're here in the studios on this beautiful, lovely day, bringing you the best of R&B and hip-hop, pop, a little dance music, reggae. You never know which one I'm going to play today. But one thing for sure, we're going to have some fun with my co-host, Miss Melovee.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Oh, I love this sunshine on this Thursday morning.
Hey,
oh, it was so nasty on Tuesday, but God brought the sunshine out.
hey,
And I'm glad to be here.
that's
Amen.
what it's all about.
Yes.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
You know, it's so real. It's getting so real out there. It's getting so real. You know, you turn on TV and you see that Tamar and her husband is.
I know. We just sent our wishes out to them the best. We know that's a difficult situation, but you know what? Everybody's going through something, something.
You know,
That's why we need Jesus.
and they need it. We got to
Yes.
bring him in the picture, keep him there.
That's right.
We're gonna keep talking about bringing some positive energy today. You know, keep it right. I'm getting hyped.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to blow up something. Bring some music. Bring some music.
Yes,
I
we
think
need music for the soul.
No doubt about it. You know, get
Nothing like soul music.
Hey, soul music.
this one right here gonna be a little, it's a little R&B, but it's a little, to me, it's like dance music. Kind of get people in the right frame
get your
of mind.
blood flowing, get
the
your
blood
juices
flowing,
moving.
Because I think so much negativity brings you down.
Yes,
Everywhere you turn.
Absolutely.
I don't watch the news so much that I don't even want to watch it no more.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day when we were talking about it. I said, here I am watching the news again.
Yeah.
I need to change it up.
Yeah.
Change it up. Yeah,
because
it won't bring you down.
Yeah, it brings you down and it keeps you in the house and you don't want to go anywhere. You don't know who to trust.
Right.
But that means that evil is winning. Because we are locked in. We are locked in the house.
Yeah.
We're afraid to speak.
Well.
We are we take advantage and it's like we always on the edge. And to me, it's like when you don't get out and speak and communicate, have a good time.
That's right. And fellowship, engage with people.
Right, you got to engage. We're not engaging with people anymore.
I know. Yes. Yeah. Look, Facebook, social media is taking all that.
We only want to talk. We get on Facebook. We don't want to call nobody now. People be texting, and I'll be like,
you could be in the same house and people texting.
Why are you texting me? Pick up the phone.
I know. They said that's a lost art now. Yeah. Nobody wants to talk.
Yeah.
It's actually, I was watching something on one of these talk shows that it's too timely. This takes up too much time. It's easier to send a text.
Yeah. Well. Let's get into the music.
Yes, we need some music.
Keep it going. Right now, coming up next, we got the hottest music on the planet. You know what we like to do. This is the Dream Maker Show, baby. Good morning. Welcome. Why don't you hashtag, email, tweet, call somebody. Matter of fact, call somebody and tell them about the Dream Maker Show on WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
Stretch, keep it going, do the bend. And stretch one more time, do the bend. And stretch, keep it going, do the bend. And stretch one more time, do the bend. And stretch, keep it going, do the bend. And stretch one more time, do the bend. And stretch, keep it going, do the bend. And stretch one more time, one more time, one more time.
What you did to me this morning had me late for work. I'm stressing, missed my meeting. All I'm thinking about is you. And now I'm looking at the clock, counting the hours till I'm back in your arms. Wish I never had to let you go. make it home tonight. Let me make love to you for the last time, baby. I wanna cherish each moment like the last. Cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case.
Think of how we made love almost anywhere. Haven't I taken you almost everywhere? Think of all the things that we shared in the imagine me not there. Oh, even you more careless than the rain. Got you, baby. Anything I've got, you can have it, baby. I'll do magic. I'll do all I can to keep you satisfied. So just in case I don't make it home tonight, baby.
Just in case I don't make it home tonight. Let me make love to you for the last time, baby.
Make sweet love tonight.
Like the last, cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case.
Haven't I made you feel so special? As your man, I've held your hand, never letting go. Let you hold the keys to the Lex. Would drive, gave you all you need and want as long as I'm alive. Even from the heavens up above, I'll shine on all. Too much is never enough. Oh, you're all I want. Even when I'm gone, the love will carry on. It's just that strong, so just in case.
Make it home tonight.
Make it home,
Make love to you for the last time.
oh.
Cherish each moment like the last. Cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case. Just in case I don't make it home tonight. Let me make love to you for the last time, baby. I wanna cherish each moment like the last. Cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case.
Think of how we made love almost anywhere. Haven't I taken you almost everywhere? Think of all the things that we shared in the imagine me not there. Oh, even you more careless than the rain. Got you, baby. Anything I've got, you can have it, baby. I'll do magic. I'll do all I can to keep you satisfied. So just in case I don't make it home tonight, baby.
Just in case I don't make it home tonight. Let me make love to you for the last time, baby.
Make sweet love tonight.
Like the last. Cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case.
Haven't I made you feel so special? As your man, I've held your hand, never letting go. Let you hold the keys to the Lex. Would drive, gave you all you need and want as long as I'm alive. Even from the heavens up above, I'll shine on all. Too much is never enough. Oh, you're all I want. Even when I'm gone, the love will carry on. It's just that strong, so just in case.
Make it home tonight.
Make it home,
Make love to you for the last time.
oh.
Cherish each moment like the last. Cause baby, you're all that I have. So just in case.
Just in case I don't make it home. Just want you to know you're listening to WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. And I am the Dream Maker, and this is the Dream Maker Show, bringing you the best of R&B, hip-hop, pop, reggae, whatever I say, I'll play it. I like people to feel good and to get you in the right mood for a day at work just before lunch. Are you in need of reaching a campus population and don't know how? Well, advertise right here on WODU Studios. Get your information out to the students the best way possible with great services from WODU Studios. Contact us at WODUpromo@gmail.com. Again, that's WODUPROMO@gmail.com. I also want to send a mad shout out to one of our colleagues, Will Strayhorn, on the Will Strayhorn Show. And that comes on every Wednesday night. So don't forget to check it out. The Will Strayhorn Show right here on WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. Coming up next, we got more music. I'm going to play a little reggae for you, you know. I told you before, I'm going to play it all. That's what I do because I'm a DJ. I like playing music, and I like playing it for you. Email, #messenger. Put it on Instagram if you have to. Let people know that the music is right here on WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. And this is the Dreammaker Show, WODU. Let's ride.
Hey, I like to cha-cha in a Latin bar, yeah, with a Dominican and reasonable time. Yeah. I like to cha-cha, hey. I like to cha-cha, hey, with a Dominican and reasonable time. Hey. I like the way you move it. I saw you from across the bar. I am not of Spanish descent. That's all they see the way I talk. I really would like to taste it. Spanish cuisine you prepare. You're beautiful, we just moving in red. I like to cha-cha, hey. I like to cha-cha, with a Dominican and reasonable time. I like to cha-cha, hey, in a Latin bar, yeah, with a Dominican and reasonable time. I'ma tell all my boys about you mañana. Hope this is your number, I'm calling you mañana. Hopefully you come kick it with me mañana. We can cha-cha between the sheets mañana. I'ma tell all my boys about you mañana. Hope this is your number, I'm calling you mañana. Hopefully you come kick it with me mañana. We can cha-cha between the sheets mañana. I like to cha-cha, hey. I like to cha-cha, hey, with a Dominican and reasonable time. I like to cha-cha, in a Latin bar, yeah, with a Dominican and reasonable time. My grumness, my grumness. My grumness, my grumness. My grumness, my grumness.
How we a run the risk, we a make the hits. We no take backs, we no take this. You fi know say ya.
My ground this, my ground this, my ground this.
Send the whole of Nannyville come for you. But on our message them a give you. You fi know
my ground this, my ground this.
We are on the ground.
My ground this, my ground this.
Hey boy, no way you 3 miles side now want see you. No moving I don't look up to you. You fi know
my ground this, my ground this.
We are on the ground.
My ground this, my ground this.
On the ground with the gal in a me lap. Gal in a me lap. Top, think a banana. Yeah, you have a thing a lot, but the world will lock. You a punk, kicking at your walk, send you go a shop. Little fool, put them in your want for send a bag of chat. I'm so high in a weird film, me say just stuff it up. Remember the days when some kids used to dress up in a frock. We go for board on Sunday, you think I miss Matty. Every night me touch a road, every night me touch a road. Man we go like ice, to ever smile like evil that. Take a picture, send it to a friend, them and go lie down, chill, relax. Give them 4 hours to find you anyway, and that's the mark. Anyhow, miss me anyway, you go me find you. Nobody run the risk, they do not make them hype you. Cause when you find you, nobody never find you. Not a case of pin, but we on a line up. Send the whole of Nannyville come for you. But on our message, them a give you. You fi know what?
My ground this, my ground this.
And we are on the ground.
My ground this, my ground this.
Hey boy, now where your mountain view, no one see you. No juvenile don't look up to you. You fi know what?
My ground this, my ground this.
Yeah.
My ground this, my ground this.
Basic me have a bag full of car tank full of Either way house me have a bank full of Whether any star me have a umbrella. And no think of me alone, me and me gang there. Watcha, boss like me live for me thing the job. Style of hands swell me up and it a chop. Would a run go in a cave for me friend them at the rock. Every man dep on your doorstep and knock. Miss me anywhere you go me find you. Nobody run the risk, they do not make them hype you. Cause when you find you, nobody now go find you. Not a case of pin for we on a line. Send the whole of Nannyville come for you. But on our message them a give you. You fi know what?
My ground this, my ground this. My ground this, my ground this.
We are on the ground. Now I a golden spring, now I see you. No juvenile don't look up to you. You fi know what?
My ground this, my ground this. My ground this, my ground this.
We are on the ground. We are on the ground. We are on the ground now. Ground now. We are on the ground. We are on the ground. We are on the ground now. Ground now.
It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around, don't stop, touch my body. It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around, don't stop, touch my body. Ooh, it feels good, don't wanna stop. You drive me crazy, making me hot. Boy, where you come from? It must be Mars, 'cause you're out of this world, just like a shooting star. What we do, it feels so crazy. Gotta make it, gotta made it. Pull me close, wrap them around me, don't stop, touch my body. It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around me, don't stop, touch my body. It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around me, don't stop, touch my body. The DJ playing my song. The DJ playing my song. The DJ playing my song. Feels so right, it must be wrong. The DJ playing my song. Hey DJ, play my song. The DJ playing my song. Feels so right, it must be wrong.
I got my goons by my side, reppin' they shit. I'm about to ball doing the same old two-step. Went from ashy, now I'm flashy. See, so classy, can't let it pass me.
It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around me, don't stop, touch my body. It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap them around me, don't stop, touch my body.
Feels so right that it must be wrong. Two by my side, one bottle of Patron. Look in the eyes, that she wanna get it on. End of the night, yeah, we gonna get it on. Hey DJ, keep playing my song. Mr. DJ, keep playing my song. Party just started and I'm halfway gone. We gon' get it on till 6 in the morning.
It feels so right, it got to be wrong. Don't wrap
You're a freak. Sweet freak. hypnotic, erotic, sexy little games you like to play. Just look at you. All that movement, all those subtle little movements you like to play. Well, baby, believe me when I tell you that I love you. I just love to play with you. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Come here, baby. I can't stand it. I can't take much more. The way you dance, oh baby, you move your body like you're teasing me. Oh yeah, baby. Oh baby. I love you day and night. I'm with you wrong, alright. I'll keep you satisfied, 'cause satisfaction's guaranteed. Oh baby, sure enough you mean that much to me. Girl, I need your love. Just give me all your love. Love you, oh baby. Oh, right now, right here, baby. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on, girl. Come on, baby. There's no one like you in this world. Oh no, baby. No, baby. You're so pretty. I could eat you, girl. Don't stop, baby. No, baby. Oh, I love you night and day. I'm in this all the way. My love will always be satisfaction guaranteed. Oh, baby, show me you mean that much to me. Girl, I need your love. Just give me all your love. Love you, oh, baby. Oh, right now, right here, baby. You really do love to play. Well, I've got something here that's, I mean, really something here that's, I'd love for you to play with. Come on, baby. Come on. I love you day and night. I'm with you wrong, alright. I'll keep you satisfied, 'cause satisfaction's guaranteed. Oh, baby, show me you mean that much to me. Girl, I need your love. Just give me all your love. Love you, oh, baby. Oh, right now, right here, baby. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on, yeah. Right on, baby. Oh, come on. Give it. Right on.
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. That's the maestro himself, the late, great, the one and only Barry White. Come on. Right here on the Dream Maker Show with the Dream Maker. and my co-host, Miss Melovee, for the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. Melovee, who's our guest today?
Yes, we have an American comic book artist, writer, and independent publisher. His name is Vince White. He'll be in the studios at noon.
All righty then. That's how we do it. That's how we keep it moving. Do you need music service for your events? Well, WODU Studios can help. Book WODU Studios for DJ services for your event, and you will get the very best of new DJs and DJ services from those who know music best here at WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. That's what we do. We do the very best in music. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it. We'll be coming up at 12 o'clock, that's for sure, with Vince White. Yes. That's going to be exciting.
In the studios, yes.
Yeah, we'll learn all about his comic book series and, you know, how great he is with the pen and ink.
That's right. That's right.
You know, so maybe I can get up to his level. But unfortunately,
no, I think he needs to get to your level.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't do comics. I hire people to do comics. I don't do comics. I create the characters. I can create the storylines, but I can't. I for some reason, I just don't want to draw comics.
Really?
Yeah,
but he seems like he has an awesome.
Yeah, he's good.
Strip.
Yeah,
he's
I got
good.
3 or 4.
It's called The Powers That Be.
Yes, and he'll be at 12 noon. That's to the 757. But now we jumping right back into the music. This is the Tempting Temptations. This one is called Stay. Right here with WODU, the Dream Maker Show, baby. Stay right here with the Best of the 757, 12 noon, with my co-host, Miss Venus Marshall. WODU, that's the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
Yeah. Just to feel your body, your sensual design. You know my heart goes crazy when your tender lips touch mine. Let's explore our love and the candlelight and wine. We'll leave the world behind, baby. Girl, do you believe in the miracle of love? Won't you try and see I'm the one you're dreaming of? Baby, close your eyes. Let some fantasy become real. Oh yeah, feel alive. Stay till the morning, baby. Rock me, girl, like I wanna rock you, like I wanna rock you. Stay with me, baby. Stay till the morning, baby. Let me know that you want me to. I wanna rock you, baby. Can you feel me, baby? 'Cause I'm coming from the heart. You're such a sexy lady. Ooh, just tell me where to start. I'll make sweet, sweet love like you never felt before, and give you so much more. Hey, hey. When you need a friend, I will come to you. You just tell me when. Girl, that's all you gotta do. Let me be your man. I will be your pleasure. Anytime you need. Stay till the morning, baby. Rock me, girl, like I wanna rock you. Don't you wanna stay with me, girl? Stay till the morning, baby. Let me know that you want me to. Girl, I want you to stay with me. Yeah. Stay till the morning, baby. Rock me, girl, like I wanna rock you. In the morning, in the evening, and all night long. Stay till the morning, baby. Let me know that you want me to. I wanna rock you, baby. That you want me to. I'll sing it from the highest mountain. The highest mountain. Read the words across the sky. Across the sky. I can't live without you. No. I can love you through the day and all night and all night and all night.
Of all the riches in the world, you will forever be my girl.
I wanna go. Stay till the morning, baby. Girl, like I wanna rock you. I
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. That's the great sounds of the OJ, the Love Train, right here on the Dreammaker Show.
And now another exciting episode of Captain 85.
In the past, many of my stories have dealt with children, some who I've helped to save, and some who weren't so lucky. This story centers around a young man and what can happen to those even in the upper echelon of crime.
Now this little beauty is a must-have with the local gangs. I got about a dozen left.
His name, Nathan Beaumont. Occupation, gun dealer.
It's all there, man. I ain't gonna stiff you. I got my rep to keep.
Lots of guys say that.
Nate sold guns to both sides of the street. He even had people sell for him. One night after making a sale, he stopped at a gas station. He didn't see the addict hiding near the mini-mart, watching his every move. And, as a result, he was carjacked and shot to death by a man who had bought one of his own guns. May he rest in peace.
Sponsored by Community Action People Incorporated, as we continue to acknowledge the Bullying Month. This is the Bullying Month campaign to stop bullying. You know, so that's what we got to do. That's what we must talk about. You know, that's all coming up. And for the months out, we're going to be out and about, you know, promoting stop bullying in our schools and communities. We must protect our resources, and that is our future generation. And, you know, you'll be hearing much more about our mentoring program in the weeks to come. Nevertheless, we're going to continue to do our best. Coming up at 12 o'clock is the best of the 757 Community Talk Show. And, of course, my co-host, Miss Melovee.
Yes.
Hey, she's going to be right there on the MIC, you know, with our special guest.
Vince White.
Oh, yes. There you go. Talk about speak of the Vince. He's coming in. We'll be up at 12 o'clock. Don't forget, tell a friend, hashtag, email, tweet, let them know. If you got kids, you need to record this and watch it. WODU. This is Good Love by the one and only Brian McKnight. You're listening to WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
That you existed, you satisfy my thirst. If you keep feeling that my heart is gonna burst, well, your compassion's only second to your understanding. You tell me what you want, but you're not demanding. You look beyond my flaws. I give you everything I have, and it's because you got that good love, so good to the very last drop. You got that good love, I don't ever want it to stop. You got that good love, you're all that I think of. I will never get enough of your good love. Girl, you're there for me, but you're not too possessive. You give it to me sweeter, you can be aggressive. You're the subject of my verse, and there's no way that I'll ever forget the words. Well, it's a miracle, but somehow you understand me. And I don't even care when you reprimand me. You look beyond my faults. I give you everything I have, and it's because you got that good love, so good to the very last drop. You got that good love, I don't ever want it to stop. You got that good love, you're all that I think of. I will never get enough of your good love. I never had anything like what I have with you, for sure. Gonna give the best of me, because I know you got that good love, so good to the very last drop. You got that good love, I don't ever want it to stop. You got that good love, you're all that I think of. I will never get enough. I will never get enough of your good love. Your good love. Your good love. Your good love. Talking about your good love. Your good love. Good love. Talking about your good love. Your good love. Talking about your good love. Your good love. Talking about your good love. Your good love.
All my ladies say, oh, you already know we be getting money. All my ladies say, oh, we be making moves, we be stacking honey. All my ladies say, oh, get familiar, nothing's gonna stop it. All my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh. All my ladies say she hustles harder, Monday to Sunday, baby, and the world is her oyster, and she's gonna drive you crazy. Sexy, smooth, get it attitude. This girl got that power move, pound independent chick, team business minded. I am who I am, and I am on top of my game, brand new bag full stacks of them things. I'm a gang. All my ladies say, oh, you already know we be getting money. All my ladies say, oh, we be making moves, we be stacking honey. All my ladies say, oh, get familiar, nothing's gonna stop it. All my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh, motivation, winning, the end, and we winning right now, hands down, down, down. Here's to my lady, champagne spilling out. Crazy, yeah, that chick, she crazy. 365 of them days we work, we play harder. Oh yeah, throw a couple ones in the air like you don't care. I am who I am, and I am on top of my game. Brand new bag full stacks of them things. I'm a gang. All my ladies say, oh, you already know we be getting money. All my ladies say, oh, we be making moves, we be stacking honey. All my ladies say, oh, get familiar, nothing's gonna stop it. All my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh. I swear I am an empire, I swear I will be admired. I swear, yeah. I swear I am an empire, I see those stacks going higher. I swear, yeah. All my ladies say, oh, you already know we be getting money. All my ladies say, oh, we be making moves, we be stacking honey. All my ladies say, oh, get familiar, nothing's gonna stop it. All my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh, all my ladies say, oh.
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion, and you know we riding and ready to roll with the best of the 757 on Facebook Live and on WODU Studios and all the campus TV as well. Want to introduce Melovee, of course, my co-host, and she's going to introduce our special guest today.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. You know what I say? Press that share button. We need your colleagues, family, and friends to join in today, and we're so happy to have Vince White in the studios today. He's an American comic book artist, writer, and independent publisher, and I'm going to let him introduce and tell you all about himself.
Oh, well, thank you guys. It's an honor to be here. I mean, wow. I couldn't believe it when I got the news that I was selected after I bugged you so much.
No, after I bugged you.
I'm a great fan. And, it's an honor to be here. But yes, I'm a graphic designer by trade.
Okay.
And I've worked with a couple of major marketing companies here and in California.
Okay, California.
But my passion has always been comic books.
Oh.
And cartoons. I grew up on a heavy diet of Saturday morning cartoons.
All
back
right.
in the day.
Yes. I raised a house full of boys, so yes.
And I just got to the point where I'd done so much work for other people. I work with toy companies, major brands, and I have made so many brands and concepts well known. I thought it was time to make something of my own.
That's right.
So in 2011, I made my first attempt at producing a comic, which went over really well. It was called The Legend of Willpower.
Okay, Legend of Willpower.
The Legend of Willpower,
okay.
And it stars an African American teen. His name is William Power.
Okay.
And the book is about his legend of becoming this great superhero.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
And your latest thing is called The Powers That Be.
The Powers That Be.
And I was so intrigued when I saw that. I wanted to ask you, what made you come up with that title? And what is it all about? What is it?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Powers That Be are, you hear where... You always hear the term they're out against me. They're out
to get me. They those people.
The system.
Right.
And so I wanted to have an authority that was greater than they.
Okay.
Someone that would oversee and overwatch the they, because they seem to be invisible and everywhere.
Right. You always ask people, who are they? Name those people, right?
We don't know who they are.
Right.
But
It's
we know
always
they
a
exist.
they out there, right?
And so I said, you know what? How would it look if there were a team of heroes that were the majority of which were people of color?
Right.
And how would they see and police the world?
Right.
Okay, that's a very
that's powerful right there.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if one of the things that intrigued me about heroes. I'm going to go off.
You
come
go
back.
ahead.
Is that
show the comic book?
Every culture has its fantasy, its mythos. Mm-hmm. So like you have the leprechauns of Ireland,
right,
and the fairies, and you have like the Knights of the Round Table of Europe, and the dragons and ninjas of Japan, right? And China. But what's interesting about your mythos and a culture's mythology is that it directly reflects their social subconscious, their gathered social identity.
Right.
It's representative of that. Like the shogun, he was supposed to be a warrior that would die for the king, and he had sword, and he had great honor. And so the people, I keep forgetting if that's Chinese or Japanese, but it meant that the people, they had a certain value placed upon honor and dignity, right? Because their mythology followed that.
Right.
And with the Greek gods and so on and so forth,
it tied into their culture.
Right. So what is the American fantasy? What is American mythology? And in essence, it's really the superhero. That's the one real art form we've created.
That's right.
Okay, but if your mythos says a lot about your culture, and your mythology has very few people of color.
So what is that saying to people of color, right? Y'all need to have something. You need to get it together.
Yeah. So I figured, you know what? It's really powerful to inject yourself into the mythology of a culture,
Right.
because you become a part of the tapestry of that, of part of their dialect.
Right.
You know, when little kids are running around with towels tied around their neck,
Right.
pretending to be superheroes.
That's right.
Your mom said, "Get off that couch, boy. You're not Superman."
Right. But they never, right, there was nothing for us to claim in that genre, right?
Yeah.
It was always Superman, right?
So I want or Batman or Wonder Woman.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I want them to say, "Get off that couch. You're not William Power."
Right. Oh, okay, right.
Or the brother, or Dreadlocks, or
Right.
Purge.
And these are some of the characters you created, right?
Yes, these are some of the characters.
And I was going
in
to
the
ask
Powers
you
That Be.
about that. I mean, tell me some of the premise behind some of the characters you create. I know it have to be something that kind of stirred in you, and caused you to want to put it into artistry. Who are these people, and why did you choose them and their names? Yeah, some of them.
Well, I created this thing called the icon equation.
Okay.
And what it is it's 19 attributes that will make a character iconic.
Okay.
Okay, and when I mean iconic, I mean exactly like what you said. If you go anywhere in the world and you ask someone to name a superhero, they'll say like Superman,
Right.
Batman. So I'm like, well, why are
What
there...
makes them distinguishable?
Yes.
Yeah, brings them to the forefront, yeah.
And just to give you a couple of those attributes, and this is what the powers that be are. It's an exercise of these attributes. Is that I realized that most iconic characters are primary colors.
Okay.
They're red, yellow, and blue, because I think the rods in the eyes, they pick up those colors,
And it draws you to those colors.
and those are the colors that make all the other colors.
Right. Okay.
So they're the base colors. You mix yellow and red, you get like green and blue and red, you get green, and yellow and red, you get orange, and then you mix those again, you get the purples and the violets, and so they are the base colors. Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, all red, yellow,
Right.
or
That's
blue,
right.
right?
That's true.
And then what I also realized is that they had simplistic costumes because they're easier for kids to draw.
Right.
And so the more they draw those characters,
Yeah.
the more they're burned
Ingrained
into their
in
brain.
their minds, right? Become iconic.
They
right?
become iconic, and they have to have simple names,
Right.
so that grandma can remember it.
Right.
You know, she's
Okay.
not going to say, "You Cosmecus, get off there. You're not
Right.
Cosmecus."
It's nothing difficult, so you can't.
It's got to be Spider-Man, Batman.
Right,
And
right.
so I figured, let's have some iconic characters of color, and they have to be they have to be primary colors with easy names. And I figured the title, "The Powers That Be," we've always heard of that.
Right.
And
Isn't that a part of a song, "The Powers That Be"? Isn't that a part of a song? Remember
you're
that?
talking about Chuck D.
Okay, yeah, because
Public Enemy.
I'm from New York, so I'm trying to put that in there. Yeah, the powers. Yeah, Chuck D. Yeah.
But basically, the characters are based off of that premise, and I wanted to create a universe, and I realized you need a tent-pole character that can hold the whole universe up.
Okay.
And this character has to be someone that reflects a moral foundation, heroic acts, and that if whenever they create a character of color, he's always the most aggressive character, or he's always angry.
Right, it's always right.
He's
exactly.
He's
the
never
angry
the
person,
Yeah.
the thug.
He's always got to be Mr. T
Right.
in the A-Team. Why can't he be
right, with the
good
chains?
guy?
Yeah. So always, what is it? Stereotypical.
Yeah. So I said, no, we need a Boy Scout. I'm gonna apologize. Excuse me. And so I said, you know what?
That's your superhero.
There's a fire.
They lead
That's
you.
the bat sign, or
But so I said, you know what? Let me make a Boy Scout character, and this is where William Power comes in.
Okay, William Power.
William Power, or for short, willpower.
Okay. WP.
Yeah, WP. And from him, I guess his story is interesting. You have to read the first issue.
Okay.
But something happens where he becomes the densest thing in the universe.
Okay. You said the densest
The
thing.
densest thing in the universe. Okay. And so literally, he becomes like the universal anchor. And his father is a scientist of sorts, and so he sets up this foundation that basically allows him and people that come and gather, heroes that come and start to gather around him, to police reality in a new way.
Okay.
So
He's excited.
so there's a character in DC, in DC Comics. His name is Green Lantern.
Right. I remember Green Lantern.
Green Lantern can make anything with his ring, right? But this is where the differences come in. In our reality, there's a character that can do something very similar, but instead of making shovels to put out forest fires, he makes a perpetual engine and gives away free energy to the world. Okay. All right.
You're into this. I'm like,
we've got a.
I got males. It's like being in a group with young.
This is what happened when artists come together.
Like boys, like, wow, this is cool.
There's a girl. Her name's Element Girl.
Okay, Element Girl.
And what she can do, she can control the weather. And what she does is she starts to make the crops grow around the world where they wouldn't.
Okay.
So now you have free energy, and you have abundant food. So as these heroes start to make these heroic acts, guess who is actually upset about it? The governing bodies.
Okay.
Because they're actually solving the problems. But by solving the problems, they're freeing people up and away from the powers that be.
Right. Okay.
Right?
I see. I got you.
All right.
Because they're not in control anymore.
Yeah, they're not in control anymore.
Right. They're not controlling.
So you really get to see that if heroes really did exist, they would be public enemy number one.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, because
Jesus was.
Yeah.
Because
when you really start doing good, that's when people start coming after you.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a I was always fascinated with Star Trek because
Trekkie.
It would give you.
My cousin Glenda loves that.
So many morality plays hidden within the story.
Right.
And the comic itself is an allegory for multiple messages, and hopefully people will start to pick it up as they read and enjoy the series.
Yeah.
Now I know that you also had a comic strip, or do you still have that? Cube City.
Oh, Cube City.
Yeah.
Cube City. Yeah. Well,
now, what was that? Because when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is cute. I like this. It's almost like. It looked like Baby Kids.
Baby Kids.
Okay, am I correct?
Well, yeah.
I don't know if so many people remember Baby Kids.
Yeah, I remember Baby Kids. Well, you know, it's about office life and the fact that you like I said, I used to work for major corporations, and you go to work and you're sitting in your cubicle, right?
Oh, okay.
And so the concept is that everyone is in their cubes. It's like a cube city, right? And the things that take place in the office place, you know, the inside jokes, the things you do out of boredom.
Because when I saw your drawings, I said, you know, I didn't see what the premise was behind it, but the visual looked like the Baby Kids, like the way you drew the characters.
Yeah.
It had those configurations, I guess. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah. They're all bubbly.
Well, actually, yeah. So when I saw it, I said, oh, without even knowing what it meant, I said, yeah.
Well, the characters reflected a time where where I was much younger.
Okay, I was going to say, you aging, because you know Baby Kids came out, what is it, 90s, I think, 80s maybe?
80s,
okay,
probably,
yeah, probably 80s, I want to age myself.
And when you're working in like ad agencies and startups, a lot of the people there are generation what they call X now, maybe Y.
Right. We'll know.
And we would do so many crazy things. Like if it was your birthday, we would wrap your chair in aluminum foil and stuff like that in the office.
Okay.
So it was just reflected. It reflected office life,
Okay.
In that type of
Now,
way.
where did you take that? Where did it go? I mean,
Well, it was actually.
It's just something that you came up with. It was something.
Yeah, it was something that was distributed throughout our company.
Okay.
But I actually had a comic strip in a local newspaper in San Diego and Santee in Southern California area.
Oh, okay.
That was I forget the name of that thing. But like I said, I've done so much.
Wow.
I work for Nerf a little bit, and
okay, Nerf.
Yeah.
People don't remember that, but the Nerf ball.
Nerf,
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I work for a local company here. I guess it's okay. Well, they created swim toys.
Swim toys. Okay, pool toys. Okay.
They're located in Virginia Beach, and so they had license for everything: Disney, Marvel.
Okay.
So anything that would be pool related, beach related, from the little inner tubes that your child would sit in.
Oh, in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's all types of games from floating basketballs, all the stuff. So
now, what made you want to do what you're doing? I know it's a young. I have, like I said, I raised a house full of males, and I know they all had great imaginations. And my youngest son, he loves the animation, Japanese animation, and so he was very into that. My oldest son was into writing, so they kind of so one would draw and the other one would write. So. And I know they love comics, cause, and I know they love the Saturday morning cartoons. And I was more the Sunday morning newspaper where you read the Sunday comic strips. Remember,
loved all that
I
too.
love that. Blondie. That's probably well, they probably don't even do that anymore. But so I know that I can see it in you. It's like this little kid that had these little characters going around in his mind, and he said, "I'm going to draw this." So what made you want to kind of do this as a profession?
Just the energy you cited, that nostalgia of that time.
Right.
Here's a bit of insight that I think is true. We may when I was younger, during the school week, you had to wake up and get to class, and you might be tired. Like, oh gosh, I gotta wake up so early and catch the bus. I may have missed the bus like 3 or 4 times a school year, but on Saturday morning, man, it would be the crack of dawn.
Yeah,
and you would wake up,
TV.
run downstairs and watch TV, because it was something about those cartoons that they showed you heroic acts, morality plays,
and it took you away for whatever.
It took you away, but
it
it was teaching you how to be a good person without you realizing. It was teaching you right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I mean, in between, you learn to take a bite out of crime.
Mm-hmm.
You learned how to stop, drop, and roll if you roll fire.
That's true.
Schoolhouse Rock taught you how to count and how a bill becomes a law. I mean, it had all these things in between the cartoons, as well as the cartoons themselves, teaching you good and good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but the ABC channels, ABC, CBS, all those channels, they don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had it for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And what happened is that sense of moral compass that it taught that our generation disappeared. The cartoons became more sarcastic. They even cursed in some of the cartoons.
Yeah.
Okay. They moved to like Cartoon Network, and the cynicism and the negative energy of those cartoons raised the entire generation of kids on that.
Right, yeah.
And you can see how
How
that
it's
generation
changed.
has changed those
Yeah.
kids because they're not talking about what's right or wrong,
Right.
how to be respectful. If I even said stop dropping, they would say what?
What?
Dance?
But you're so right, because my husband is always talking about, especially the family dynamic,
Yes.
how they have distorted it. You know, the father is not, always treated like the imbecile, and
Yep.
and the kids are not listening, and they all doing their own thing, and so it has really gotten away from what the cartoons we grew up on.
Yeah.
That kind of taught you something or kind of engaged you. And now we're talking about social media and
Yep.
the digital age. So a lot of it now, is on
and
phones.
it goes right back to what I'm saying is that you're not aware of the power of these symbols and these archetypes in society. And if you can now start over and create new iconic heroes,
Right.
new archetypes,
Right.
positive, and they are people of color.
Yeah.
Because before, if you said, "Well, how does a hero look?" you would
It was
think
nothing
Right.
out there except for maybe Green Hornet, and
Yeah.
it was green, But you're right, you're
and
absolutely right.
it burns so much into your mind that these negative images, right, and they're very powerful. So now you have to get back.
undo it.
You have to undo it.
Yeah, so now we need to create positive images and characters that that our children can grow up on and say, hey, if we say XYZ, you can say yes, Will WP or Will
Willpower.
Willpower,
Yeah,
right?
I know when I was doing my research, for my character and to develop a comic book, and I went around to different comic book stores, and one of the gentlemen that operated, he said there's about 50,000 Afro-American comic books, but only 5,000 you'll know.
Oh yeah.
Only
Yeah.
5,000.
Yeah.
Then when I was talking to a guy on the phone, and he worked for Walt Disney, he said, we encourage people to come over to to learn how to do cartoons, but they won't come. We give them scholarships. We give them scholarships, but they're afraid to come over. And that's what prompted me to do a lot of things I do, because what most people look at Afro Americans, they are fearful to try because they're afraid they're going to fail. They already like we are programmed, we're going to fail if we try.
Yeah.
So we're not going to try.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So bringing in, new books and characters gives them the power to say, I can believe in myself, because it's the belief system.
Yeah.
We stop believe. We are being bombarded with negativity, so we won't believe.
Right.
Because we got the power.
And it takes away your dream,
Yeah.
the power,
Yeah,
it really destroys your...
Yeah, once you get that power going, that energy going, all of a sudden, I want to sit down like with when I'm talking to kids or talking to people. This is the most powerful thing that you own.
Yeah.
With your brain,
Your pen,
this and a piece of paper,
Yeah.
you can create a whole universe and create without even,
Well, that's something I wanted to. I should say about this.
And you said multiple realities, one powerful universe.
Yeah, because I guess I needed to make this point. You said there's like so many black characters, right? And only so many that you know.
Right.
Well, I looked out it's called the mainstream market would be like Marvel, DC,
Right.
and so on. And
Yeah.
you have the independent market.
Right.
I looked out and I saw all these black creators.
Right.
And I said, man, you guys we're all trying to do something separate.
Right.
So the Powerverse is my attempt at bringing all these characters together.
Right.
So when you see the cover of my comic, you see my character, Will Power. But that's my character.
Okay.
All these other characters are from other creators.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And so I had them all. I said, look, we need to come together.
Right.
Form a group.
Right.
Okay.
We'll be the
A
powers
coalition.
That be. Yeah, a coalition. The Justice League.
There you go.
But you ever been to Wizard World? Up in Philly or?
I've been to San Diego Comic Con.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Comic Con. Yeah, because I went to Philly Comic Con, and same there. You see a lot of people, but you don't see a lot of independent black artists.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to go to California. That's why I really want to.
Yeah, San Diego Comic Con.
That's where you really gotta go.
We want to acknowledge some people.
And what happened is when we start doing things, we get into the point where we are not focusing in on bringing younger people into the fold.
Yeah.
So we got to get them into the fold. So when I saw your, like you said, you brought all the artists together to start forming. Because if you band together, somebody, cream gonna rise to the top sooner or later. But if it's like we won't come together and work together. Because if I introduce your comic, then somebody will say, hey, I didn't know nothing about that. Now I'm going to purchase it.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yep. And I had a long conversation last night with the creator about that. And so we're networking in different cities because we're all across the United States. So they're all pushing the comics in the local stores. We're making our own distribution network. We're usurping the normal means.
Okay.
So this is we're doing something completely different.
Right.
And making one universe so that there is cross promotion and discovery of other titles.
So that's excellent because I see you're the founding member of Primal Paper Comics.
Primal Paper Comics.
So is that something that you came up with to kind of solidify all that you were trying to do?
Actually, that's how it started. It was a local group of guys here. We were called Primal Paper Comics. One of those guys has gone off to make the Hampton Comic Con, so he runs that now.
Okay,
that's an annual event. Another creator is he has a character called Red Knight, who's actually in this book here. And then I just had this idea of expanding it, and it wasn't necessarily their cup of tea. So I said, well, let me try. So that's when I created the Powerverse.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't want to diminish or take away from Primal Paper or what they've helped me create. So I went and created something separate. And now they're all like, let's
do this. What's it? Like thumbs up now, right?
Yeah.
But I see where the Powers That Be was. It's a recording artist that took the rights, or he picked up the option for your comic book, Lorenzo Starr.
Lorenzo Starr. No. No, he's a recording artist, and one of the things that I'm trying to do with our books is there's a group of we have a group starring younger characters.
Mm-hmm.
They're characters who are more like street characters, and what has happened is they were placed in public housing, and the city wanted to have a certain amount of people in this public housing. And so you can stay there, it's free, but you have to stay there for generations. You can't leave. So they put them in public housing. They built up this wall around them and kept these people in there for generation after generation. And after like 50 or 60 years, they decided to go through regentrification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can never say that. And so they decided to tear down the walls. When they tore down the walls, they were surprised at what they saw. These people had developed abilities. And so these young heroes, the group is called Section 8. Because they were in Section 8 housing.
Right.
And I wanted to have a CD in the back of the book, or a digital download, and you get to hear the characters rap in their persona.
Okay.
So there's a guy who can turn into smoke, and his name is Contact. And so he would rap in the album, like my name is Contact, whatever, stay back. And so that was the idea. So I'm teaming up with some R&B artists to make this happen.
Right.
And that those artists will be taking on the characters of the book.
Wow. So when is this all going to come to?
It's all happening. I just started the Powers That Be and the whole Powerverse in this February.
Wow.
We have over 19 titles. You can find us at thepowerverse.com.
Okay.
We do Kickstarters to try and get the money to produce each book.
Okay.
So we do a Kickstarter every month for a new title. Now it's 2 titles. Okay. So you can get 2 titles every month. The books are anywhere between $5 to $10 because for 2 books. Mm-hmm. And I mean we've done pretty well, but we could do better.
Okay.
We could do better because we're trying to make something completely new.
I was so fascinated by that. I said I wanted to dig into more about what this was all about.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, and I really want to get in touch. There's two. If I could get in touch with two people, it would be David Banner.
Okay, David Banner.
David Banner.
Shout out.
And DMC, the from Run DMC.
Oh, okay.
These guys are both comic heads, and they want to do comics. Right. They've done some before, but once again, it was just them doing it by themselves. They put out one issue and they stopped.
Right.
Well, I know Marvel had back in 90-something, 96 or 97. I think somewhere in the 90s that they started with Nas and Mary J.
Yeah,
because Mary J's supposed to be able to fly.
Right. They
stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that. Actually,
for some reason, I don't know. They didn't take
do it right. No, I mean,
well, sometimes with us, but that see on that premise, here you go. Now you're gonna start it back start it up.
Yeah, but I think they always try to make black characters when they do it more like white characters.
Yeah.
And like I keep telling people, even with my character, I tell them like you got to keep it real.
Captain 85.
You got to keep it real because we don't believe in Santa Claus coming down the chimney.
That's true.
Let Santa, he come in the house.
Well, I do.
It's gonna be
I'm sorry, I do.
Well, I mean, he gonna get gapped.
My grandson might be listening.
Who the strange man under my tree? Yo, dog.
I'm sorry.
Jap. Because we gotta keep it where that. It's every day. We feel these things.
Well, like you said, Section 8, contact, we already know what it is.
Yeah.
But,
so like you said, Section 8. Well, we know what Section 8 is. We live that life.
Right. So, but I like the premise, and I was saying I had to kind of explore that with you because I didn't know who Lorenzo Starr was, and I saw where you said he was picking up the option for your comics. So I'm thinking, oh well, he's getting into big time. So we're glad we're getting him on now, but we don't have to go through 5 different people to get you on. Call my agent, call my publicist, call this,
And up in also in Philly, I don't know if you know or ever visit. They they have a Black Comic Con.
Yes,
in Philly at Templeton.
Yes, I want to get up there.
Yeah, Templeton.
And I think what's happening now, this is a great time because. The black community has gone through several different identities, and we were very conservative once, well dressed, well spoken.
Right.
Then we they broke down the neighborhoods, drugs, got rid of the Black Panthers. Now they became thugs.
Okay.
Right. And now the age of the blurred, the black nerd as they call it.
Right. That's right.
Is coming back, and with. This movie Black Panther is coming out.
Right, I just saw that.
I think what's going to happen is I saw so many people watch that trailer and they just freaked out because they hadn't seen anything like that.
Right.
You've seen Roman soldiers come with their shields and armor and that mythology.
Right.
You've seen that in 300 and all these other movies, right?
Yeah.
And King Arthur, you've seen that. But you haven't seen a guy, black dude, come out with dreadlocks and he's wearing a panther helmet. With bear skins on, and his army, on a pyramid about to take on the spaceship. You haven't seen that,
right?
And so the age of Afrofuturism is now.
Say that again, because Afrofuturism.
Right.
All righty, a new term.
That is going to be the next big thing.
Okay.
And so it's time to start to make these and make these icons. Because it has a major effect. Because you will start seeing yourself differently.
Right.
Everyone in our community, and this is not to the exclusion of characters or not of color.
Right.
But I'm just saying that every culture needs an identity.
Right.
And if you don't have one or you can't tap into it, you have to create it.
Yeah. Especially in this digital age and all the all that you can do on. And with computers, but the closest we ever got to that was the Jetsons, right?
Yeah.
So right, so now we're seeing that's not so far fetched anymore.
No, it's not.
Right? Remember, we was like, wow.
I want to send some shouts out to Angie Harold that's watching, Randy Ward, and Annette from Bronx, New York. How you doing, Annette? And Barbara
Ham Lee. Yeah. Thank you for watching. We know who she is.
Okay,
Oh, wow. Annette Torres.
Yeah.
Mary Eaton.
Yeah.
P-Town Charlie Morgan. I like that one.
All right,
Michael
then.
Maison. We know who he is.
Yeah,
from 103 Jams, formerly of 103 Jams.
Yeah.
Dr. DJ Heart Attack. Anton
We got a lot of
Barnes.
characters up
yes.
here.
Yes. T.L. Chisholm. Yes. Yeah. She's on 104.
Yeah.
Keisha Mills. We thank you for chiming in today. And Yvette Branham.
Yeah, so the thing is getting people more aware of the books that's out there, so people can see them and be able to, so people can purchase them. I don't know if they can see it from over there, but I know they can see it on this camera.
Yes.
So so they can purchase these books. Where can they get them?
You can get them from the website, thepowerverse.com.
Okay.
Or you can look up on Indie Planet. No, yeah, it's called Indie Planet. INDY planet.com.
Okay.
But that's a third party website. My site, thepowerverse.com. That's where all the books are aggregated. You can find all the books there. You can get them in digital format, or you can get them in print.
Oh, good. Okay.
And to download the digital copies is only $1.99, and the physical copies are $3.92. So basically $4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because people, sometimes people, when you're independent, and they're like, well, that price is too high. I can get but this is independent. They charge you real money. They charge real money to print these.
You were trying to get it going.
But we're trying to get it going. Throw something in there. If you can sacrifice a McDonald's meal, stay from the $5 or stay away from the guy with the white hair chicken place, you can help us along when buying a book. Because it's about, if the more you can afford to purchase, the lower the price gets. Yeah. But you're spending hours and hours in paint, drawing, then inking, then coloring.
I do this book myself.
Yeah.
Wow. And then there's like I said, there's 19 other titles. We have more creators, but it takes money.
How long does it take just to do? From start to finish. See, this is why I want to talk about.
Yeah.
They don't understand the hard work that goes into this book
and
that they want for $1 or $2. It's a lot of work.
But even Marvel comics are $4.99 now.
Yeah.
So our prices are commensurate or comparable to it.
But we need to support our independent artists. We actually, Tamika Winborn, she's chiming in, and she's an independent filmmaker. We need to. That's why we have the Best of a 757.
Right.
Yeah.
People, we want to get the word out to folks that we have such talent in our community that we want to make sure we uplift them.
And I also want to send a shout out to Rita Cherry. These are people that are tuning in. They got grandkids.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be purchasing
Christmas
this.
is coming.
Christmas is coming. To purchase these, these books so your kids can grow up and see.
T-shirts, posters.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Good.
I'm trying to get into the action figure.
You should create a hashtag too. So
I know, right?
I'm doing Willie P. I don't know. I'm sitting here. My brain is right. Willie P. Something.
So, but you don't have your action figures yet, or
no? We have some, but they're custom made. So they're not mass produced.
Right.
That costs money as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if people are supporting the book, what I'm saying, supporting the T-shirts. Yeah. You can grow the business. You can't grow it if you sell one book a month.
No.
You got to sell 1,000 books a month or a day, so that the costs begin to come down, and then you can venture out and getting other things made. So that the kids can grow up and have them. Yep. And people don't understand. Let me explain to them, while we're talking.
Yes, I'm going
to because, see, they don't understand art. This is collectible.
Yes.
This is valuable. You buy the book today, you can save it for your kids or your grandkids, and 10 or 20 years down the road, what you pay $5 for is now worth $100. You done invested $5 or $6. Nicolas Cage. About 12 years ago or 15 years ago, sold his whole book collection from comic books that he had as a kid. You know how much he got? About $50 million.
Yes.
And people don't understand the books that our grandparents and our mothers back in the day threw away. If we would have had an original Superman comic book or any of those, that'd be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
So they're not understanding it's not just a comic. Look at the art. the art, you know, all this artwork. This is skill. This ain't no, oh, I just woke up this morning and I just decided to go in and do
you
this.
do the writing as well.
Yeah.
So
I don't do comics. I hire people to do comics. But I create the storyline and, you know, give them a little leadway to help co-write the book because I don't want to, my character doesn't get into violence. Mine is the power of the mind. So if you connect the power of the mind with the kids, then maybe they'll stop the violence, the bullying. This is what we got to look at. They got to see people, hey, wait a minute. We don't see this. They need to have this in their book collection.
That's right.
Definitely,
this, you know.
Definitely. And I've put together a pretty great roster of characters and creators, and a lot of their work is now being seen by bigger companies.
Okay.
So that's the unfortunate thing. Some of these guys might actually go on to Marvel and DC.
Right.
But what is also great about that is that this will probably be one or two options where they've only drawn their own character. So that piece where you get that book where it has their character in it,
right?
That's like rare.
Yeah, rare.
It becomes rare.
That's right. That's
and
exactly
I mean, there's an artist named Jim Lee.
Okay.
He used to be at Marvel and DC.
Okay.
Big, well-known artist.
Okay.
But you know, he's always drawn stuff for those two companies. But if you had something of his own from when he was younger, that thing would be worth a lot of money. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it happens. So, yeah, definitely collect them, read them, pass them on.
Right.
If you have reluctant readers, comic books are the best thing to give them.
Right.
I was a reluctant reader when I was
That's
younger.
a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
And that's how I began to read more by stealing my brother's comic books, getting beat up. But it got me into reading.
Right, but it didn't just get you into reading; it got you into doing your own comic
It
book.
sparked imagination.
The imagination explodes when a kid can sit there. Wow, I can do that. All you gotta do is take a pen. If you want to keep your kids from bullying, keep them off the streets, get them in the house at night, instead of being on the street corner, not knowing where they are, get them a comic book, and then get them a pad and a piece of paper so they can start drawing.
And they'll start writing.
Right.
Well.
Exactly.
Writing the stories.
Literacy is very important. We've gotten away from that.
And then, you know, before you know it, they want to know how to do this on the computer, how to color it.
Right.
Now they're becoming computer literate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that comes from this. So the imagination expanding is just probably the biggest one, but there's more benefits than that as well.
Yeah, we you know, like I said, all the people that's watching, you know, I see Nate Johnson. What's up, bruh? You know, he's in the building. I just want, you know, Beverly Harris. I just want you to understand is that if y'all got kids, nieces and nephews, it shouldn't be no reason why, you know, these comic books can't be flying off the shelf.
Yeah, and even when we do our Kickstarters, what it is you pledge for a book. Let's say you pledge $5 for a book.
Right.
The Kickstarter runs like 30 days. When you pledge, it asks you for your card information, but it doesn't pull that money off your card until the Kickstarter ends.
Oh, okay.
And that's only if we meet goal, right? But within those Kickstarters, we have rewards where you can put yourself or your kid in the comic.
Oh, okay.
So you can be a hero, or if you have a hero of your own.
Right.
That I had this guy that I made when I was a kid.
Right.
I never did anything, but you know what? This guy I'll draw and put him in there, and I'll have that book. You know,
and it'll be something personable.
Yeah.
Personal.
So I mean, there's all types of great rewards during the Kickstarter and stuff like that.
And it builds character, and your kids will be saying, you know, instead of them me bullying somebody, let me go and draw a picture of somebody being bullied, you know. And like I try to, you know, what we try to do here on the Best of the 757 on the community talk show is to encourage, you know, people in the community, positive things. We got so much negativity flying around that's negative. It just drains our physical energy.
Yes, it does.
You know, and that's why, you know, I have been trying to get you over here because I met you when we was when I was going at Tidewater Community College, and you was out there, and I bought your book, and I bought your book, and you autographed it for me. You know, so, and I've been following you ever since. You know, so with me is every time I see somebody, I try to grab them in because We need our community need mentors. Even this is part of the mentoring program that we discuss. And when people hear me on the radio saying, well, we over here on the radio talking about a mentoring program, this is part of the mentoring program because we get to speak to people that's in the community, engaging in positive things. And they can always play this back and have their kids to sit down and watch it, and they can observe it, with the questions and answers, and then say, hey, okay, what's that email address? What's that website? Let me go back, let me go and buy that book for you. Yep. You saw that guy on the community investor 757. Now you have his book. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And
they can write, they can ask questions through the website. There's a contact us page. My number is there if you need to get in touch with me for any reason. And like I said, all the books and the T-shirts, all that stuff is there. So it's a great.
Okay, so they can that's a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop. The character bios are there. You can look up the characters, read about them.
So that's great. That's also an incentive to kind of get into the comic book and see all the characters and what they're about.
Yeah, what they're about.
Yeah, the backstories.
But what's your Facebook? So they want to reach you on Facebook or check out.
You can type in the Powerverse.
Okay.
And it's a group page. You have to join that. Mm-hmm. But if you want to find me, you type in Facebook, whatever it is, / and Vinny Tunes.
Oh, okay.
VINNY Tunes, TON.
I'll get that from you, and then when I send this out, I'll put that in this video so that people can click on it on top of it.
Okay.
So that way, they'll have that information there. It's important for us to start, supporting our Afro-American community, artists, business person, because we gotta instill in our future generation. You have to be able to support each other. Yep. We complain all the time. They think, don't forget, coming up November the 7th, it's voting time.
Yes,
you gotta get out there. So we can't keep sitting on the sidelines. Mm-hmm. I keep telling people the word free has destroyed our community.
Oh, yeah.
It's destroyed us. If they don't get it free, they don't want it. Hey, well, I ain't coming. I ain't doing this.
Very much so.
When I was growing up, when my mother and them, I used to watch my mom when I was 6, 7 years old. They go out and they be like, oh, we're going out. But back then, it was $5 to go out to a club. Yeah. Today, they want to get in free. They only want to pay $5. Mm-hmm. But they don't understand that most of the time when they go to places, the DJ, this is another thing. The DJ that's playing the music ain't getting paid. They're getting paid, but they're getting paid pennies.
Yeah, minimal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody, they get in free and they sitting there for 2 and 3 hours. That DJ has to work a regular job, has to keep up his equipment, has to keep up his music, but the people that own the club saying free. What happened is everybody's making money but the DJ. So you don't get the quality music, you don't get the quality entertainment that you want to get, because it's everything that creates is talent, intellectual properties. You have to be able to pay for that. Mm-hmm. I paint. I do oil paintings and watercolors. I ain't gonna do no comic book. I'm sorry. I'll pay somebody. I'll sit down and write it and create it. But it's a lot of work that goes into this.
I don't know. Do you know that we work together on a book?
Yeah. You did. You did help me with my Captain 85 book, mm-hmm. And but at the same time, I have to figure out a way to pay people. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't. One thing I don't believe in is somebody working free. I'm sorry. It's in the scripture. You pay a man. You pay him. Not free. It ain't free. So when we don't pay, we are subject to not grow our community. We don't grow as a community. Everybody got a community, got their own shops, got their own stores, and we sit over here buying from them, and we can't put our own people to work. So if you want to support willpower, it costs money power to help willpower to any business out there. I'm not just talking about Afro-Americans. We support everybody but ours. Out of every $1 spent, only 6 cents. 6 cents out of every American dollar, 6 cents stay in the black community. 6 cents.
6 cents.
How do you expect to uplift our young people.
I didn't even know it was 6 cents.
Yeah,
because
it's 6 cents.
One of the things that I'm really fascinated with is the, was it Tulsa, the Black Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
And how $1 would stay in that community up to like 2 years or a year.
Right.
Not here.
And now they say $1 stays 15 minutes.
That's it.
15 minutes in the black community.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're really trying to create a network of creators who are of color.
Right.
We have creators who aren't, but the primary creators are people of color.
Right.
We have people working in animation. There's an animation coming out that's working on this.
Okay. Good. Okay.
And so we create our own animation studio. We have a print side. We have artists, and now, like I said, the music industry as well.
Right.
And
all those genres coming together.
Right.
Forming a network. And trying to be our own distributors as well.
Right.
So you got to form that, because that's what Tulsa was. I mean, it was their own thing. I was surprised at the size of that community, because I heard they had like 7 grocery stores, like 3-4 airports.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big this thing was.
Yeah.
You know, how many banks they had, like 7 or 8 banks. I mean, you know, and that stuff is needed again, just to.
Yeah, sustain a community.
Yeah, so I mean,
keep us going.
definitely. By buying this comic or supporting the Powerverse, you're doing more than just buying a comic.
Right, you look at how many artists that you have working on the thing now.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, there's 19 creators.
What?
And then even for my book, like I pencil, ink it, and letter it.
Right.
But I have a colorist, and I pay the colorist.
Right.
Just to have her color the page. Wow. You know, it can be $50 to $100 per page.
Right. That's what per
page.
They don't know what I'm trying to tell them.
It's 21 pages of each comic. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're dropping money into the book.
But just think, me, I pay for drawings. I pay for the writing. I pay for the inking. Designing of the cover. I might sit down and do a sketch, and this is what I want. You don't deviate from it. I don't put that in there. Take that out. Put this in.
Yeah.
That costs money.
Money and time.
I did a run. Let me show you what I did one time. I did a run for my first coloring comic book. 2,500 books.
Yeah.
Okay?
How much that cost?
It costs, I'm getting ready to tell you.
He said, hold on.
I'm not telling you how much I paid the artist a week.
Yeah.
A week. He was getting paid by the week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because he went into, he didn't ink at first, but then he said, I can work it. I bought the program, which cost me about $2,500.
Yes.
I paid him every week. When that book was finished and send it off for 2,500 books.
Yes.
It cost me $8,000, and it ain't no pay me, lend me, loan me, can you spare me? You send that with the order.
Yeah.
And I gave them all away free.
Wow. Yeah, because back then you had to.
Yeah.
Because they're just not gonna,
right. But the thing is, that's what I try to get people to understand is it requires money, and when you can't afford to continue to do free. Somewhere somebody pays for it, and if you don't buy the book to encourage your kids to do positive things, your kid pay for it later because the free you can't do it no more. Somebody has to pay somewhere along the way. That's why nothing is free. The book that you want free, or the book you're saying, well, that's too much. I gave a book to a lady. She gave it to her son, was in reform school. When she told me, she said, he's not coming home. I said, do he read comic books? She said, I don't know, I think so. I said, I'll give you one of mine. I gave it to her, she took it to him, and the next time I went down there to where she worked at, she said, I want to thank you. And I'm saying, like, thank me for what? She said, that book you gave me, I gave it to my son. His probation officer called me last week, said he's coming home. And when I talked to my son and said, why did you change your attitude? He said, because I read the comic book. And he wasn't black, he was white.
Wow.
And she introduced me to him. He said, when he comes home, he's going to work with kids to teach them basketball. So it reaches, it helps people, because when a child is being bullied, when a child is being a bully, he may not understand, but if he see a book he might sit down for a moment and make in his mind start saying, wait a minute, is that what I'm doing to people? Is that what people are doing to me? We have to support things that our kids can understand.
Yeah. And sometimes understand without them knowing they understand.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason why the man himself spoke in parables.
Right.
Because if you could tell your kid all day long, or anyone something all day long, and they'll be resistant to it.
Right.
But it's when they read something, they digest it, and then later on they realize what they digest.
Right.
It allows them to get deeper into the soul.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what the comic book's about.
Yeah.
That's why we, I always try to bring people from other perspectives and show they can share their narrative, show that the ability to come together and think and listen to the experience that people older have already been through. And you got kids at home and they might be a little fidgety, may not want to read, but sometimes you get them something different and then inspire. All my kids, they draw. They graduated from high school, college. My son, he's getting ready to go to Canada to work on a program. Developing a comic book series, animation, because he writes programming. He has helped. He's worked with companies. He's worked programming for one company. They did a kickstart and did $1.7 million.
Wow.
They wanted $1 million, but they got $1.7 million for the video game. He's going to Canada to work on a video game, and they already start working. He's already started working on the characters for it. And like I tell people, if they didn't see or did the homework and read comics and stuff, it's amazing. Yeah. Picking up a book and be able to see and talk to a person that wrote the book or draw the characters. That's the difference. We get to experience that. And that's why, I got the young man here. Rafig. He got his own comic book character. You want to step over here so you can say something, pull up a chair.
But I was going to talk to you also about, you have a...
no, it's good.
You have a studio called Dark Light.
Dark Light Studios, yes. Dark Light is basically me. It's my design side, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, but I put it on everything I do. So because I do websites, logos, graphic design, print, all that stuff. It's like my 9 to 5, and slowly this is becoming that. So hopefully one day it will be the totality of what I do. Okay. But that's what that is.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a question? Because we only got about a few more minutes. If I know you sitting over there getting excited.
He is so excited.
So if you got something you want to ask them right quick, we got a couple of minutes before we sign off.
All right. So when it comes to making the comics or the characters in general, what do you think about for each individual character? Because I'm obsessed with giving people their individuality. Yeah. So I feel like that's important to where we can connect differently, because a lot of people don't want to be. Yes, it's important to connect with others, but a lot of people don't know themselves. So how do you allow a character to know himself and expand it onto others the way he can connect and help them out? The way he got willpower doing his thing.
So basically, how can you make a character relatable to the I'm trying to do that right now. I'm not going to say that I'm the king of this, but what I've done is you have to give them a personal challenge. And one of the things with Will is that when he was younger, you'll figure this out, that he was feeble. He couldn't walk very well. He was in braces. And so I try to make the character relatable through internal dialogue. So he goes back to that in his mind a lot. And we have internal dialogue that runs that defines us all the time. Right. And his thing is that the only person that believed in him was his father. So whenever he has doubt, internal dialogue takes over, and then he realizes that his name, it means something, that he needs to just summon the will power to keep moving forward and not allow the mental doubt to stop him and to have that same belief in him that his father has. And I think, you know, we all go through that. So whatever struggles you think is only related to you, you'll be amazed.
Yeah, people will say, "Oh my God, that's what I'm going through." That talks to me. Yeah,
then you have to also, I think, to make your character really relatable, is to realize the word icon goes beyond just, oh, he's a great character. I like to say, on your computer has this process where it'll take a bunch of ones and zeros. It will move it from one area of your hard drive to another, compartmentalize it, partition it, and will not allow you to access it. It does this process, and this complicated process, and we have a representation for it called the trash can. Mm-hmm. That trash can is the icon for that process. So what you have to figure out is, what is your character the icon of? Will is the icon of willpower, your human willpower.
Right.
There's a character named Daredevil in Marvel. Mm-hmm. He's blind,
right?
But he fights crime, and he's called the Man Without Fear because if you don't see it, oftentimes when you see something, you're overcome mentally by the odds. Like if David saw Goliath, he said, "Oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to beat him." Right. But this character's blind, so he doesn't see the odds, so he has no fear, right? So I said, well, he's the icon of fearlessness. Mm-hmm. So you write everything based off of that. So how would you write the scene? You have him walking down the sidewalk with his cane and his assistant, and they come to a stop sign and or a red light, and he keeps walking across the traffic. All the cars skid. He makes it to the other side. He turns around and faces his assistant and says, "Aren't you coming?" Because he's not afraid. And so everything you write
has to be based off of
the essence of of what he's the icon of. That will help the reader say, wow, I dig that. If your character is hope, Superman's hope, or vengeance, everything is based off of that. So that's how you get readers to relate to it. If you're writing novels or you're writing scripts or whatever.
Okay. Well, the time has come again. That's got to end. I will go away quick.
I know it does.
But you want to give your website, your information once again before we sign off?
Yes, thepowerverse.com, all one word. You can actually find my Facebook link there as well. And my YouTube channel's there. It's right at the top. My contact us page, email, everything is right there. You go to thepowerverse.com, you can get the books, T-shirts, all my contact information is right there.
Okay.
Okay. We're so happy to have had you in the studio and talk about all your endeavors. And as I keep thinking about this, who's going to play Willpower? Will Smith. We got to get it out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, until next time, I want to say blessings, Melovee.
Well, want to say it. It's been fun, but it's our time to run. Remember, love yourself, put God first, and everything else will fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you. It's all in what you think about you. Till the next time we meet, till the next time we greet, remember, it's the power of the universe.
That's right. Powers that be.
The powers that be. Get it now. Check it out. Until next time, this is the best of the 757 Talk Show and the Dreammaker Show. You know, I got my Dreammaker hat on, and I'm out of here.